Oh no, 13 Sentinels is back. With Hey Sekigahara! We're going to finally figure out the mystery of who killed Chihiro Morimura and whatever else he's been doing. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say when a character has amnesia like that and everything.
Well, he could have been doing a lot of things. Like, I think he has a gun, and he's from the future, and he pilots one of the Sentinels. Sentinel 17. That's the 13th one. That's the 13th Sentinel. That's the 14th Sentinel. That's the most important one.
I mean, there are only 13 Sentinels. They just made more because actually, I think 17 is Mura's because you know the AI. Don't forget that there's also several copies of every single one of the characters out there that exists, which is why stuff like the death of Chihiro Morimura you might have forgotten about at this point.
Well,
considering there's half of the characters that exist in this game are her.
And also, they're always being created. New ones are always being created by the nanomachines, or revived.
Yes.
Or their AI.
The AI version is getting uploaded into different characters, so they just kind of get altered now and then, here and there.
That specific cop is actually real and from Earth and from 1985, but everything else is nanomachines.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the mystery files, by the way, the mystery files are a thing that just give you random factoids on otherwise super minor stuff. Like A's gun, I could probably learn exactly what the make and model and what sort of magic energy weapon bullets that it shoots if I looked at that.
Yeah.
I actually really did enjoy going through that entire thing because you get so many weird insights on things that do not matter.
So is it just like lore, or is it just like, where do you see this?
Yeah, it's just like extra lore things. They give it to you for... You unlock it by going through the gameplay sections, and then they give you points that you can use to open those up. You need to unlock a certain amount of them to like advance in Megumi's storyline.
Okay, that makes sense.
Thankfully, you didn't have to end up watching me. We're still keeping it to just the visual novel part of it.
Are the revelations in a linear order, or do you like buy them at a marketplace in a specific?
Once they appear once the cat food appears in the story, then you can buy it in the Mystery Files marketplace.
We find out if it's human grade cat food.
Apparently, it is very high quality, like fancy cat food.
Okay, yeah, kind of a fancy feast.
Which is one of the many things that I remember reading on that.
Okay, yeah, like you probably like it's real tuna. It's albacore tuna.
Like, yeah, that's the sort of thing that you expect out of that.
It's $6 a pound instead of $2 a pound.
Maybe it's somewhere further away.
It's 6 nanomachine manufactured monies.
Do you ever think about how big tuna fish are? And this is
yeah, they're so that's I do sometimes think about that, not just like tuna, but also like birds.
Oh, like because it feels like birds are pretty small. Like you can eat like a chicken, like a chicken breast is only a couple pounds at most, right? Like
yeah,
that's their breast. That's the meat in their
and then you like actually see a turkey on the side of the road, and they're like the size of a small dog, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. These things are gigantic.
Yeah, that they're. And pigs are even bigger. They're like, and so are cows. Cows are bigger than humans. Did you know that?
We live in Wisconsin. We see these things out like every day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you necessarily, but the place I live is certainly right next to a lot of farms, and it's like see those things. I mean, hell, in one of the previous episodes, I was talking about how I saw a literal barn burner.
Huh.
That's just kind of like sometimes you forget just how absolutely enormous a duck is.
Are ducks big? Like I always thought of them as being very, very small, like the size of my foot or something.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Am I the only one? Am I alone in this?
I really need to start cooking with more duck meat. I haven't. You know what I mean? Like because I feel like they're
it's really greasy.
Yeah, I mean they seem like they'd be delicious. Like I don't know, that seems appealing to me.
I don't know if I've ever actually had duck before.
Yes.
I actually just had it today. I'm like
Really?
I got it from a Thai place last night, and it's one of my favorite. Like it's in a curry, so like it's just no. I was like wait, I actually had duck meat. Like why was I thinking?
Man,
about this?
I haven't had curry for a while now. Sounds like that would be good.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Well, anyway, A has a big fancy motorcycle. there's a talk about food for the episode, apparently.
Yeah, they're always saying there's like
apropos of nothing. It was either that or talk about space coke.
Yeah, exactly. The teenage fantasy of waking up next to a motorcycle and having a gun in your breast pocket and not knowing how it got there, and then having some indication that you're in a relationship with the school nurse who you don't remember, but you remember she's hot as hell, but she's dead, and you don't know who killed her. And then you've got to go on the motorcycle right now, or the cops is gonna find you.
Yeah. That's. I guess that's what's been happening. The teenage fantasy of having amnesia.
Well, you got to find yourself.
Also, she wasn't a nurse at the time that A would have known her. At the time, she was in the latex cat suit, commanding armies of robots. But I don't know. Look, it is impossible to say how the amnesia actually works in this story.
So he's talking to his future self through the amnesia.
Yeah, his past self.
Okay.
Because the left logs because he knew that it was gonna be losing the memory and all that.
Well, I mean, I'm saying his past self recorded this for him in the future, which is
Except
now.
It's not the future. Oh my god. I still absolutely despise the fact that it's not actually time travel. It's the one thing.
That would be, now that I'm thinking about it, that would add a funny twist if all the time travel always worked like this. Like, think about
any time that you see time travel in like any sort of fictional media, it's always just multiple cities.
It's just multiple cities right next to each other, and you have to go like Looper just took place.
I guess 2 miles over.
The problem is that when you have ironically, it's bad time travel that would cause the most problems, because that whole thing where you disappear from the picture frame, that doesn't make any sense unless there's a literal causal link between the two objects at a distance. At most, then you're into quantum physics, and you're right back to impossible stuff that's happening. They're not actually the future and past, it's just that they're quantum entangled, so if one of them dies, then the other one dies. But then that's effectively...
That raises a lot more questions.
Exactly. That's already time travel. And then if you have something like nanomachines that manifest the outcome, well, then how is it fundamentally different from, and that's the other thing is the thing that's really disappointing is we have nanomachines. They would be able to explain the time travel, even in the 5 cities model, with or without that model. You can just have them, they're quantumly entangled, and so if one of them dies, it makes the other one in the other city die. And so effectively, they are linked by time. And it is actually, Tamao is Jiro's actual grandmother, and then she's actually living in this, she's able to talk with him. That would be an interesting twist. But
that would be something, but the thing is, there might be a real older Tamao's grandmother, because as we've seen, there is you can have multiple versions of the same character.
Yeah.
It's just they don't actually have her appear in the story, which feels like it's a revelation, but also not. I don't know. I feel like any sort of attempt to explain how this could work that isn't the way they're doing it is just gonna raise even more questions.
Yeah. No, and I feel like,
and of course, it's just if we're not gonna have time travel, why would we just be but the nanomachines?
Yeah. No, I mean,
they're both arbitrary sci-fi nonsense.
Yeah. The problem with the five different cities things is that you spend more time just thinking about the logistics of that, not even just what do the characters do when they go to the bathroom kind of stuff, mechanic stuff. I mean, on a fundamental level, then why would you build the 5 cities? Why would you do that? If it's not actually time travel, if there's no link between someone in this timeline and someone in that timeline? If it doesn't matter, then why have it? Why not just have 5 different cities?
Yes, if there's all...
Like you could just have five different artificial cities. This is the exact same thing
we talked about back in the Goto episode, though.
Like no, but I mean,
it's just like, why would you do it like this?
Yeah, like you could.
I mean, same thing. Like, why would you still have the war happen?
Yeah. Why would you choose that? Which is
still just the most ridiculous thing.
Like again, it's one of the worst times to be alive anywhere. But yeah,
during war.
Yes. 5 different cities.
They're like, no, we're going to very accurately recreate all of that.
Well, for me, it's like, why not just build 5 different cities that have no inherent connection, but sometimes people travel between them who are who are part of the system. They're the employees essentially, and they have to know on it some level. But maybe they don't know everything, because if somebody knew everything, then it would break the whole system. So you have people who can travel between the 2 cities or whatever. Why would you have them be at different times, different technology levels? It doesn't make sense to build a city in 1945. The one thing they decided
is that they're not going to have modern technology levels. That's the one thing they decided.
Well, I can kind of see that because, okay, maybe we decided that somewhere along the line, some piece of technology, maybe the atom bomb, is where humanity went wrong. And so but we can't precisely isolate what that is, so we have to build cities with varying levels of technology. So you're like, okay, maybe it was the processor, maybe it was the World Wide Web, maybe it was a transistor, maybe it goes that far back, maybe it was time travel, maybe we invented time travel. And then we forgot.
Man, if only we invented time travel.
If we invented time travel, we could go back in time and fix everything, though.
Oh. Well, anyway, hey, we're getting this explanation, which I think we got before, right? Was this during Hijiyama's storyline? Once again, I do not remember exactly either.
Oh, I coded 426. That's the AI, the aptly named DD426, because that's the patient who got the decode.
Yeah, remember, like this one I do know we have seen, because like Nenji's Victims of Poison storyline is what it was called.
Okay, but Nenji had a Victims of Poison storyline. I don't even remember that. Like, we've got the
oh man, that was the point where when he was on the brain station.
Well, he was eating his yakisoba.
I think it's a good pun. When he was on the brain station, Tetsuya Ida, for whatever reason, manifested in his brain palace to tell him that like Juro and Shinomone and everything died of poison.
Okay.
I suppose we also got that from the cat too.
Yeah.
But
there we go.
Yes, this was something that it's like you talked about way at the beginning of the story, where it's just like if you have a personality transplant, does that really mean that you're the same person or something like that? I told you that they were eventually going to address that in the storyline.
No. Yeah. So anyway, Tsukasa is basically saying Tsukasa is Mikasa. This is the monologue of that.
I swear to God. I would rather go back to talking about how we could try and make a 5-city system work.
Well, what about legit?
Which I really don't think. I just don't think we can.
Yeah, no, it's absurd.
Because it's just gonna be like the nanomachines or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You can't have a premise like this. The premise is too stupid. I can't salvage it.
I mean, I think we've talked. I don't think they went in thinking, oh, we're gonna have 5 identical cities. I think that was a patchwork, and that is older. Yeah, of course it is. Like the eyebrows. Who the hell are you? Hey, who the hell are you? Wait, who is that?
Takatoshi.
That's Takatoshi. So Takatoshi.
Yeah, we didn't really get to see him a whole lot in the military uniform, but this is what he looked like.
He's clearly A from the future. Stop lying to me by omission. They have the same eyes. They have the same hair.
Future?
They run the same way.
How could he be from the future?
We had the same thing with Nenji Ogata, where it's just like, okay, look, this older guy.
Yeah, look at Hijiyama right on the left there.
Yes. Why? To distract me?
Yes, to distract you.
He's
got the same eyebrows. You talked about how the eyeballs were the same or whatever. He's still got the same.
You know what? You are right. I do concede that they do have the same eyes, but that character specifically clearly looked like A from the future, like, or older A. I guess it's not. There's not from the future. It's all happening in real. It's all in the far future. And
it's all millions of years in the future. We've talked about
well, the characters aren't even necessarily, they're not even the same person, they're just genetically identical. Like, they're the same, or what, nanomachine logic, however that generates people.
AI constructed personalities.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's probably, we have a model for you at this age and a model for you at this age, and we create them, from that. That would be programmatic.
Which, if they actually did do like the Tamao thing, whatever.
I mean, yeah,
they didn't though.
They aren't working.
We got Grandma Tamao. It's just
Grandma Tamao is probably a real person. Probably Grandma Tamao is going to come back at some point. It would be so stupid.
Well, that I would have told you if that was in fact the case.
I know you might have been hiding that though. You lie to me sometimes when it comes to this game. It's the whole premise.
Damn, you know me too well.
It is funny because it's like, there's a lot of like just you got to tell me things and not spoil them.
That's I don't know. This entire series is so weird.
At the same time,
certainly doing episodes like a month at a time is not helping.
We just need to fuck it up in so many different ways. What we're doing, this is our tribute to the game, is like we're introducing all these sci-fi premises into our own recording of it. We're creating the conditions of amnesia. We're creating the multiple timelines. By the way, we're ordering the episodes. This is what is it? Rhizomatic.
God, yes.
It's a rhizomatic
we're doing it over like a 6-month time period where every single episode is restarted at least a dozen times.
Yeah, that's the time loop genre.
Oh no, I can't believe it. Timuary is happening, but just not in the way that you expected it to.
Looks like Timuary fell in July this year.
Well, I mean, that makes sense though, right?
Yeah. I mean,
think about it. I mean, that's the greatest twist of them all, right?
And, why would you go back to these terrible times? Well, I mean, we're doing the series.
Look, I don't know if you understand how my brain box works, but I have to finish what I started.
Yeah, no, I've if there's one thing about your brain box I've figured out, that's definitely the one thing. When I start,
there's many things about my brain box that are very obvious.
It's funny because I have all these.
For example, it seems to be constantly at risk of just like capsizing, and then I can't do episodes for like a week.
Well, I'm the opposite. I just have tons of unfinished projects. I've never finished anything in my life because by the time I'm to the point where I could finish it, it's too novel. It's not no longer novel, and there's no joy in doing it. And so I just don't do it, and I'm just like my dopamine is just shut off for that, and I'm just like, I think I'll do another unfinished project because there's promise in unfinished projects. The Persona thing is the only thing I've ever completed, and that wasn't because of me.
It's just. What about all the other series? Did you not like Death's Gambit? I like Death's Gambit.
Death's Gambit was good.
Just curious, how do you feel about me actually dragging you into every one of these episodes?
I find it interesting. I mean, I wouldn't play this game otherwise. I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't.
I mean, to be fair, I'm purposely doing this because I'm just like this is like a 30-hour RPG, visual novel game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing.
I need some assistance here.
We've found out how little there is to talk about in the course of doing this. I mean, we're out. We've already.
True. We're already on Space Coke again.
Yeah. By the way, you bought Coke because it was space flavored. Is that right?
This game is so all over the place. I didn't even consider that. I just knew that it was going to be long.
The background of this scene is Mexican Coke.
Yeah, that was one of the previous timelines that we went into. What?
It's how it looks through the glass. Like, if you were in Mexico in a poorly lit convenience store at 3 a.m., this is what the Mexican Coke would look like through the glass of the light of the freezer that it's or the refrigerator that it's in.
Why Mexico in particular, though?
Because it's Mexican Coke. It's a glass bottle.
Do they still have glass bottles? Really?
Well, I don't know if they actually have it. I mean, it's just they call it Mexican Coke because it's, you can usually get it at like. You can usually get them in grocery stores. They'll have like, here's the Mexican Coke and it'll be in a glass bottle. Yeah.
I didn't know. I did not know that.
Was it always in that glass bottle? Like, was it like if you bought it like in 1930 or something, would it be in a glass bottle? Like, it's still got the original cocaine in there.
Yeah, I thought that was the original one, but I thought that they phased that out for plastic bottles. Like, I did not realize that there were places that still used like the classic.
What, the cocaine? No, that never went away. That's ingredient number 5.
Well, yeah, that's why I got all the space Coke here. What do you think the space part of it is?
They replaced, cocaine. Space tastes like cocaine. It's all.
It tastes exactly like cocaine, and now they've brought it back, baby. Coca-Cola Starlight. Go and buy it in your local gas station or whatever today.
I don't like how new Coke tastes like the bottom of the ocean. It tasted like an eldritch being at the bottom of the ocean. Like. It was an elder god.
Isn't that the premise? That was like the premise of Cloverfield, right?
I don't know. I don't remember that was like
to bring back old movies.
Well, it's the thing is, it's not that old. It's that we haven't seen it. Like, I saw The Thing like last year.
That is absolute. I'm gonna look this up right now. When did Cloverfield come out?
Probably 2004, 2005, maybe. I feel like, yeah.
2008.
2008, huh? That's interesting.
So, not as old, but...
That's the same year as The Dark Knight, which also feels very, very old.
Pretty old.
Is it weird? Like, it feels like it was such... Like, it was tied to that historical moment. So, like, for example, you think of The Godfather, that's going on 50 years, if it's not already. Like, it's probably 50, 51 years.
70s? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or maybe it's only, like, 48 years. That's a long time. But, like, The Dark Knight doesn't feel like it's 35 years newer than that. It feels like, oh, that was, like... And then, like... I don't mean that The Dark Knight feels like it came out in 1980 or something. I'm saying it feels like a really long time ago. Whereas The Godfather was like, yeah, of course. The Godfather's always existed.
Godfather's 1972, so 50 years.
Wow.
There you go. Also, I'm just noticing right now that every one of my recent searches are just looking at Muv-Luv because of one of the alternate timelines.
Yeah, I mentioned that I was playing. I was playing and I was planning to go through it, and you're like, "Oh my God, why would you admit to that?"
I mean, I'm not exactly. I was trying to be at least a little kid. No, I laughed a lot.
I haven't played. I don't know.
Go look up some of the monster designs from Muv-Luv if you haven't ever done that before. That's the only thing I knew about the game. But yeah, it seems like an experience.
So what's happening in this game now?
Look, everybody, I'm not going to play Muv-Luv on the channel. I know you're already trying to eye me playing School Days. Cut that out right now.
What if somebody offered you $5,000? Would you do it for that?
I wouldn't do it for anybody.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it for myself and not do it.
Like, if somebody offered me $5,000, I would do it, but I would do it for myself. And I would...
He's a lot of money. Look, okay, you can... Yeah. I think we've established plenty of times in the past that you can buy me off with money very easily.
Apparently...
as much as I'm putting up a big front here, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, writing a book isn't, like, you don't get a lot more than $5,000. That's what I've heard.
And is what...
Like a technical book, though. I don't know.
Do you consider these to be great works of fiction, like novels? These LPs?
I'm guessing if you write a novel, you get more than 5,000, but maybe not for like one of those dimes. Like one of those dime store novels you always see, like in the dime store.
Yes, in the dime stores.
You pay a dime.
You find them on every corner.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Some things are 12 cents, and I don't think they should do that.
I would have said like airport or something.
Like, this doesn't bother anyone when you go to the dime store and some of the things are like 20 cents. Like, I feel like you shouldn't be able to sell that. You know, you shouldn't be able to call yourself
inflation. I tell you. You know, it's not just for DeviantArt anymore.
What?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Well, this episode got cursed real quickly.
Yeah, no.
Let's go back to talking about Space Coke.
Yeah, well, so you were saying it's like, it tastes...
I don't know why that is going to be the running gag for this, but here we are.
It tastes like space, apparently, because they found something made of ethyl
Yes, there's a space-flavored Coke called Coca-Cola Starlight. I talked about it ad infinitum in one of the previous episodes. And in one of the previous attempts at recording this episode. That's the entire thing.
Yeah, well, apparently they found like ethyl formate in the atmosphere, in space. Like they found a dust cloud and that's apparently what gives raspberry its flavor. So, you know, space tastes like raspberry, and so they mixed in some, I don't know, raspberry grenadine or whatever.
So it's raspberry Coke. That's the entire thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe grenadine or something, but no, I'm pretty sure it's just raspberry.
Raspberry grenadine.
The kind that you buy at the dime store.
Looks like she goes to this school too.
But yeah,
I think that's all we got for this episode.
What's happening in this episode? So there's Fuyusaka. We famously.
Yeah. Okay. So A has finally figured out about how the codes on the paper worked, and he got another message from himself saying, you know, we're trying to just find Fuyusaka at this point, really.
Okay. And she's like the class.
And remember that at this point in time, Yuki was still working for the Men in Black, which is, I guess, why she's kind of like leading A around here. Not that he would know that. Maybe I don't even know if he ever knew that.
Yuki
still.
is the goth, or the delinquent.
God, she's delinquent
Okay.
girl.
Okay, yeah. She is a juvenile delinquent. Okay.
This is supposed to be fake millions of years in the future, 1985.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
You know, I don't think goth existed. When was like goth being a thing?
I feel like that was from the 80s, like that Bela Lugosi is dead thing. That was.
Was that like the 80s? Huh?
I think that might have been maybe late 70s, early 80s. I don't know.
I wonder, because it's just like I don't really think of that as being much of a fashion until like the 90s.
I mean, I think there was. I mean, like if you're talking about like goth as a subculture, I feel like maybe that was the 90s. But I mean, you can kind of find it like back in, like it's an old tradition, like the Joker and the noir tradition. I think that was kind of goth, but I feel like you wouldn't get to the like
sort of. But I don't know if I would necessarily. You know, when I think of goth, I think more
like happy hardcore,
the
like
pale makeup and
hardcore. I guess like clown makeup or something. Well, that's a different thing. But
oh no, you're right. It was the Joker the entire time. The original goth, the clown prince of goth.
I feel like Jack Nicholson's Joker was pretty goth. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you know, speaking of that, like Tim Burton, though, I suppose really did kind of define a lot of that sort of style too.
Yeah.
Was a different one supplied by the SIU.
Imagine having your aesthetic defined for you by Tim Burton.
SIU.
Oh, come on
no,
now.
I'm being too harsh.
How do you?
That's needlessly cruel.
Yes.
To Mr. Burton, one of our most noted watchers.
Strictly speaking.
Please, Mr. Burton, don't stop watching the 13 Sentinel series. I know that you love this one so much, and that A is your favorite character, so you're definitely watching this episode.
It would be funny if we found out we had like an audience of famous like viewers. Like there's 10 people who watch every single video, but they're all like huge, famous comedians who get their ideas from us, and one by one we just alienate each one of them in turn. Like. And then there's one non-famous.
Do you really think that, like, in the next week or so, we're going to see somebody being all like, "Hey, you see the space Coke?"
So and then like there's one person who's
farting mind break. Am I right, you guys?
There's one person who's not famous who watches us, and at the last episode of this series, we finally alienate them because like they were like the marketer at Hy-Vee, and they're like, "What if we go to space flavored Coke?" I think that's a great idea.
But I
that's
mean,
that's my big accomplishment this year, and you guys just shit all over it. Fuck this. I go here for.
I just talked about how I liked it, though, right?
Yeah,
but I did mention that I do like Space
it in
Coke,
spite
right?
of the marketing, or do you like it because of the marketing? Is that why you bought it?
I definitely bought it because of the marketing.
Okay,
That's unquestionable.
Well, good job.
Why didn't you show me the data after it was
Like, come on, if you see a bottle that says it's space flavored Coke,
Uh-huh.
are you really gonna be like, well, okay? At that point in time, I was actually already buying a bottle of Coke. I'm just kind of like, oh, I feel like getting some Coke, and then I saw space flavored Coke, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get the space flavored one.
I mentioned this before, but like there's I've listened to a podcast on the composition of space, like, because it's not perfectly clear. There's some dimming and stuff, and it turns out that in the vacuum of space, there's a bunch
Hey, it's
of
the
just,
scene again.
But that's future, yeah.
Yeah, we actually saw the one with Ida back in, or not Ida, the Goto in Goto storyline.
Kind of looks like,
but we didn't see who he was supposed to be talking to. He was talking to A the entire time. Okay, there we go.
Future Goto kind of looks like David Letterman, modern Letterman, like with the beard. I mean, not as happy.
I see.
That's not the real reason.
Well, anyway.
Anyway, the point is, space actually contains all sorts of soot and sand. That's a literal quote from that podcast. Like
I did how? I mean, I guess that would probably make for a less palatable Coke, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just like.
But then again, they didn't call it space flavor. They did not call it good flavor.
I mean, maybe they put glitter in there. You ever I feel like drinking something with glitter in it would make me just I would just choke on that. Like I would, even though it's just little particles, it would still I would oh, I got something caught in my throat. I gotta cough that out.
I mean, it could very easily do that anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, remember, it's not like that's the first time that we've seen that sort of stuff be attempted. There's all kinds of weird nonsense, gimmicky drinks before Space Coke.
Yeah, well, I don't know why. Well, the people are complaining about the product because there's little shuriken-shaped pieces of hard glitter that are, plastic that are just
shuriken-shaped, eh?
Sure.
Really went all out with that.
Yeah, well, I want to make it clear that it's attaching itself to the lining of your esophagus. It's like
Coke with parasites.
Yeah, releasing all the parasites.
Gives a nice orangey aftertaste.
But yeah, it tastes like raspberry.
It's raspberry Coke, okay? So that's the entire thing, everybody. Okay, hey everybody.
I wonder if that
Space
would make
Coke is raspberry Coke.
Okay, so
it's pretty good though. I like raspberry.
In the Google thing, you were saying that apparently ethyl formate is the flavor of that gives raspberries its flavor, but it also smells like rum. So does that mean that raspberry Coke would taste like rum and Coke? Is that what they're saying? Because that would be an interesting.
I thought it sort of tasted like grenadine syrup, which is not quite. That's a common thing in a lot of the mixed drinks.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I suppose there's a good way to, there's a good mixer right there for your rum.
And of course, I don't have.
In case, Tim Burton, in case you were looking for one.
Well, and I don't even have to tell you this, but pomegranate is, grenadine is actually the flavor of pomegranate, and that is made in the
but like a lot of the more famous
pomegranate,
a lot of the more famous grenadine syrups do not actually contain pomegranate anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think St. Vincent, like on that new album by St. Vincent, they deal with that, where that's there's an island chain in the Caribbean called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I think we've actually done this bit before. It wasn't even a good bit then, so I'm just gonna
like that's ever stopped us. How many times have I said I don't know why Space Coke, I'm talking about it so much this episode. I just think that it's a funny concept.
Did we do the thing? Did I say that New Coke tastes like the bottom of the ocean and Yeah, we did that in this one. Okay.
It's hard to say. Once again, we should stop recording these things months.
I have a notepad document with all the bits that I'm planning to do. I'm just running through them like, oh yeah, here, let me read this one. Sekigahara, that's Henry Winkler's favorite character, I think.
I don't think that was how he named it. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I guess he would have to be named A and not I, because otherwise it wouldn't even make sense. So, yeah, okay.
Yes. Sort of an important part of the entire thing. Let me take a look. What is?
I like when you just look at how much.
I'm fairly
time
certain I said
left.
farting mind break already.
Just look at this.
The coke. I don't think I got anything else.
Oh my god, I definitely don't have anything left because I made up that notepad document. It doesn't exist.
Oh man, let me just look real quick. Oh, there's got to be something else. No, it's just Mov Love again. I don't know.
We just have a notepad document with a single line. 5 cities is dumb. Talk about that.
Yeah, but it's really dumb. Though.
It really doesn't make a lot of sense, you guys.
It's a really dumb. Okay, let's put all the cards on the table here. It's a really dumb concept.
It means you have to spend the rest of the game explaining why nothing makes any sense.
It's the only way to explain the. Oh, whatever. I don't know.
The rest of the exposition is just. The world never existed.
No, speaking of the exposition, we're actually getting it right now, literally.
Well, he's saying that we're in 2049, but that doesn't seem right to me either. It's a simulation of 2049.
No.
Why would you?
2065 hasn't existed since 2049 was when the 2065 world started. Oh man.
But why would you explain?
I've had enough of this crap.
Listen, shoot. Yeah, we've all had enough of this.
Don't worry, there's only 9 more episodes left.
Logs of the year 2188. I made an
Yeah.
discovery after
That's actually not that many. That's enough where it's like, okay.
I mean, it's not that bad.
2188.
And the real world is in
The real world is in 2188. Shut the fuck up.
I like that it just he's giving. 3
Okay, well,
different
I think
timelines.
at least we know Tetsuya Iida's level of knowledge.
He's got a more sophisticated version of reality than. You think this is 2025? This is 2064, and the real year is 2188.
To gain control of
Which is
If only.
how does that make any?
once that's
None of this stuff with the years has made any sense. It is not made more sense in these explanations. The 5 cities thing, okay, let's take that for granted. It still doesn't explain these specific years. Apparently, there's not a gate that makes them go from.
They explained it. Don't you remember Mira's storyline?
Well, I mean, they just felt like it. That was the explanation.
Yeah, that was the explanation.
I mean, they felt like they needed to have some evenly spaced things so that they could guarantee or increase their chance of this drone surviving. And
I don't know if we actually have established that that's it, or if that was just my idea of what it was supposed to be.
That's why we know it was because Miura was nostalgic for 1945. Future Miura was nostalgic for 1945 Japan, which is another separate thing. But yeah, that would explain. Why would you want to go back to the year where they had Grave of the Fireflies? That's one of the saddest movies ever made. Why would you want to go there? That's your utopia is Grave of the Fireflies.
As far as I can tell, I think that they recreated it as best they could.
Yeah, they recreated the children from Grave of the Fireflies just to make it extra realistic.
Great. This is what I wanted. Yeah, we're a big fan of that movie, and of course I wanted to have it represented in the world that I was going to be subjecting my clone to.
Well, yeah, of course we want to do 1930s New York with the 5 Families era. Because my favorite movie.
Did I say subjected my clone to? I mean, let my clone enjoy.
Yeah, we'll set it. We'll start the world on the day of Vito Corleone's daughter's wedding.
Sentinel number 17.
This historical thing that
The data will be useful in the
I mean, this isn't supposed to be I'm fairly certain this was supposed to be a fictional city, but I have no idea.
See that drone over there?
yeah.
I don't know.
I assume it's it's a composite city. Here's a big city in Japan. I don't know.
But I mean, like, even in the story, I'm not quite sure if it's supposed to be a real story, a real city.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So,
It's super not clear.
Yeah. Well,
like if they made this thing up in the first place or not. They have reference like Tokyo and everything.
I love that the time is so convoluted in this game where there isn't even time. Like, there's still no time travel, but they've got to explain why they chose these 5 things. Like, why they've got to explain like 3 levels of confusion with the time. Like, well, still, why would it be 2188 then? What is that? Well, why was 2064? Well, that's when the virus happened. That was when, remember, 264. It's from 2064.
How many times do I need?
I'm assuming that's what it is. Come on, that would make...
It is not.
Oh, okay.
It's just, it's literally, he's prisoner number 264.
Well, they name... Oh, okay, yeah, okay, there you go, okay.
Because it sounds cool.
But the real world is also 2064. That just... Listen, they must have had that conversation where they decided to do that intentionally.
Or maybe they were just unoriginal in coming up with the names at that point. Because they had to come up with the names for 40 more characters that are all actually the same character.
I feel like unoriginality does not explain how you come up with a 3-digit number. Like,
I feel like what if he was called Prisoner 666? Would that be better?
We've got to think of a 3-digit number. Come on, you guys. Well, we called the last thing.
You could be called Prisoner 420. What if he was called Prisoner 666? Would you like that better?
Well, I wouldn't assume that it was meaningful. I mean, I would assume that was very, I would assume that was meaningful, but like, okay, 264. Like, why do we assume that's not meaningful? Why do we assume that they just randomly gave him that? Like,
because gave that to the rest of the game.
It's 2064. It's the real world. It's gotta be. There's gotta be a connection there. It would be really dumb if there wasn't. It was a virus that emerged in 2064. I don't think that's even a spoiler. Remember, we saw the AI room where Tamao Karabe
we saw that it was a virus that emerged. It was a virus that was injected into their things by Shinomune.
Presumably, Tamao emerged as DD-264 in 2064, and they named it 264.
You don't even remember what it is. It's 426, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Also, I forgot about that.
That breaks my whole... Yeah, well, that does...
I can't believe that I also got that wrong. Hey, look, it's that point that we did at the beginning of the game.
They're anagram numbers of each other.
There's no 0. Are you talking about this 0 an implied thing?
There's a leading 0. It's 0426.
You know, like, the fact that you don't have to listen to the voice acting because they have everything subtitled, you know how they're saying it.
Okay, that's fair.
See that over there? It's the building next to the police station.
Oh my god.
Top.
I don't know why any of this is significant. Why do we care?
What do you mean? Well, it's all very significant because if this was the first storyline you were playing, this was when you get the all the revelations, right?
The thing is, it's all revelations. It's constantly revealing things to us, and
yeah, but like I said, everything pales in comparison to the 5 cities.
That's true. Like the 5 families of New York.
Like nothing matters nearly as much as the 5 cities.
I mean, well, it's such an absurd image. It's just like, well, this is the thing this is the reason David Cage made this game. We've got to have the 5 cities. That's the most important science fiction.
Oh yeah, I forgot that this is the successor to Omicron.
It's not. It's just that it's kind of. Well, that was sprawling because they ran out of money.
Isn't it though?
I mean, in fairness, that game would have been completely normal if David Cage had been given the resources to finish that game on his schedule. Like it.
I don't know.
The damn studio was rushing him along. They said, "You have to get this done in 4 years, please. We can't afford to stay open another year after that." And he was like, "That is a serious violation of my artistic."
Well, integrity. I will not compromise on the storyline at all.
Listen, they're literally the repo
But if I
vans.
have to, if I'm absolutely forced to take things out, don't worry. We'll just have like a. We'll still try to put in every single resource that we made possible.
Yeah, I need another 5 years to finish this. Well, the repo vans are outside, and you have 8 hours. You have until the end of the day.
What the?
Oh my god. Yeah, that's what that felt like, certainly by the end. Oh, hey.
Drop the gun. Now.
Well, this is happening.
And it's got the same gun. Look, it's that,
It does.
I mean, it's
Well,
not the
fine.
same gun because you have to drop it.
But this is my entire identity. I can't get rid of it.
Don't do anything rash.
Don't do anything rash.
One wrong move and I'll blow her head off.
Oh no, what are we gonna do without this Chihiro Morimura?
So you Ida. So
Yes.
this is future Shu Amaguchi. It's still kind of smirking.
Android the whole time. Gasp.
I simply copied my memories onto this.
Yeah. He just did the mirror thing.
Okay.
Something were to happen to me.
Okay, there you go.
Plan to perform.
Didn't we run into this android like earlier in the bathroom?
I've already saved my data to the
No, they have a bunch of these androids. We actually saw like I think in
Oh.
the previous A storyline he was attacked by like 3 or 4 of them.
I remember Tamao had like the. No, never mind. Tamao did not have the legs. I think that like we were seeing something like the torso of that connected to wires
Release Fuyusaka.
at some point with Tamao.
She has nothing to do with this.
We've seen a bunch of. We also saw this one back in
poses a threat.
Tomi Kisaragi storyline.
Okay.
You have no intention of keeping.
They were also kind of like littering the ground when they were in the quote unquote future area.
Expect me to keep a promise I don't remember.
Perhaps this will ring a bell.
Gasp.
Oh, I didn't even notice Mira was there the whole time.
Taking care of anyone standing in your way.
I don't even know if that's Mira. I think that might just be a generic droid.
Okay.
Relax. Ryoko and I did
He's got a few of them.
on our end. We've already backed up your data. Next time when the world resets, you'll still have your memories intact.
Are they playing a game?
He was working for Ida the entire time. Yeah, do we know that?
Ida's order.
We knew that, right?
It was working for the Ida the whole time. I don't.
Yeah.
I-
Basically, that's
Not,
so. At least before he lost his memories, he was actually working for Ida.
He clearly has no clue what's going on.
And but then after that, since this point, he has, I guess, decided not to. But it's kind of hard to say because of them.
okay, so
What you do. This is the end.
I am a little bit.
That's the
confused
big
right now.
revelation.
Once
Okay.
we arrive in the next world, I promise to take.
So every time that he was following like instructions on stuff, it was because he was technically working for Ida. He was intending, like, here's the thing, A and Shinomone were supposed to be working for Ida, but due to the whole like amnesia, I guess they didn't actually do much of anything related to that.
Okay.
Sekigahara, so you don't have to watch.
This doesn't really feel like that big of a revelation, right?
Mm-hmm. She abandoned the
I'm
idea of
so
starting
yeah.
over again.
I. It's hard to tell what's new information. You know what I mean?
Don't you want to know why?
I mean, I guess it's not technically new because we kind of, whatever.
Onto your miserable life.
Look, I'm trying to like set this up in a way that it makes sense, but
So, did Sekigahara kill Morimura?
no.
Oh, okay. Do we know who killed Morimura?
Oh, I remember clearly.
Was the end?
I think we found that out in one of the previous episodes, but if we didn't, I don't want to say.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember.
And the footage you just played too. I made sure to back up all my memories.
That's right. That entire thing. I mean, we know it's like he no longer has amnesia because he did the whole backup thing. What with the AI, whatever,
Oh, of
with
course,
the
the
thing.
backup thing. Yeah, okay.
So he was lying the entire time. I don't know.
No.
This game is so all over the place.
Yeah, it's not necessarily in a bad way. Just kind of,
Suits are monitoring major streets.
it's just hard to keep up with. It's hard to get a rhythm when you've just got these these revelations that might not be revelations depending on what order you played it in.
Have you taken any
You know, like, are we supposed to feel? When are we supposed to feel like the emotional climax is here?
They weren't weren't even helping anyway.
I mean, I guess so. We got Robot Ida here.
So he's flashing back to a time when he still had amnesia after he got his
This was
memories.
right before his storyline started.
After I lose my memories, I imagine I'll come to you.
Where he found Morimura dead.
When that time comes.
Well, actually, starting out on the school roof, just something like that.
What are these numbers?
Yeah.
For the message service. I use the one from this era.
I mean, I guess this is the entire thing where it's just like, yeah, we know that he didn't kill her because he's trying to trust her with important information.
If we use the Aegis system, all the terminals will be sealed. Then the city will be cut off from.
I'm so confused.
Universal control.
Universal control, that's the nanomachines, right?
Oh, that's the terminals that
Okay.
governs the cities.
Okay.
The terminals open.
We can't.
We learned about that in Natsuno's storyline, I think,
Okay, yeah.
or Mura's. I don't remember. One of the two. One of the two that we've done in the second half of things.
Well, were they wearing pants?
There won't be a next time.
They're what now?
Were they wearing pants?
I had a look at the logs from 21.
Wait a second. I
discovered a way to
think she
link
was wearing
this
pants.
up.
Well, she was wearing a skirt that time.
Okay.
Satellite.
It's not from this world. There's a satellite orbiting the real world.
Mm-hmm.
From it, I learned more about the mechanics
Satellite.
of this world.
Okay.
And what did you
Turns out we
learn?
don't get as many tries as we want.
What?
Gasp.
The stability of this area is at its breaking point.
Why does it
Can't
work
fail
like
it
that?
again. If we do, the entire facility will be reset.
And
And
by
Sector
reset,
Zero
oh,
will be
so
lost.
they lose a sector every time?
No, Sector Zero is the one that allows them to live through the loops.
No, I've heard of it before.
Oh.
Seems like your symptoms are becoming more
So it seems
severe.
like basically what happens
Alright,
if
listen well.
this is the final. They're going to lose
know,
the
there are 5
backup
different
area.
Oh, okay.
However, there exists one more.
Yeah,
unique
well, she's
sector.
explaining it right now.
The sixth
It
sentinel,
doesn't
if you
take up
will.
any space, and there's no interior to see.
Yes, the secret
That's
sixth city,
Sector
except it's not actually a real city.
It's an evacuation site.
It's an
that's
evacuation
unaffected
site,
by
okay.
loops. Normally, you can send
So,
your data there
if they
using
lose
a
that, then they'll just be stuck in the actual looping thing.
No, they'll all just die.
What was that?
Ida did say that
Oh,
was
they'll all
the
die.
They have no way to escape.
Oh,
to
I
the
see,
next
okay,
loop if
yeah,
they lose
yeah. I
But
that.
see.
this time, Sector Zero will cease to exist.
And
as well.
humanity will end, okay.
We won't
Or
be
this
able to loop
version
again.
of humanity.
This is our
There we
last
go. This is the last chance. The final attempt.
Sector Zero.
So yeah, if you're wondering this, and not as many loops as they may be kind of let on.
Okay.
activated.
Well, I mean, that would make sense because they're on a floating spaceship. Why would you get infinite tries, even if you were able to pick up most of the minerals? I mean, you'd...
But why wouldn't you get infinite tries?
Oh,
What if they just collected another 100 coins?
we keep saying, like, why would it, why wouldn't it? Like, these are actual questions and not something you could easily explain away
like
with
these are things
contrive.
that
Like,
are gonna mean anything.
yeah, like, that's the thing is, they have so many contrivances. Why does it...
Sekigahara-kun.
You know what I mean? I feel like we're
Yes.
finding out the rules of the contrivances, like, and it's like they just pick those rules arbitrarily, so it doesn't feel natural at all. So it's just like, well, now there's a secret city that will prevent them from, you know, restarting. So actually, the loop thing is out the window. It's actually
Yes,
only one
and
more thing.
it's like we didn't even really know how exactly the city worked before we knew that we were going to lose it.
Uh-huh.
I think they kind of explained like Sector Zero a little bit in the start of Fuyasaka's storyline, but
You're the one who was hired to kill
I don't know.
In case you couldn't tell, there isn't much
And
left.
that's, yeah, that, yeah. And
You know, so this is A and Norimura Prime.
yeah,
To kill for money at this point.
Back when A was a cool assassin,
yeah. He wore sunglasses.
for whatever that's worth.
He drove a motorcycle. He actually, okay, there is actually a motorcycle connection to that Henry Winkler thing, so
There's nothing you can hide from.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
How menacing
Didn't
of
even
you.
think of that.
Intimidate me all you want, but you're not leaving that room.
Professor Chihiro
We didn't create a background for that, so just trust us. He's in a room.
research funds for
Uh-huh.
Project ARC. You partnered with several questionable organizations. You then sold nanotechnology on the black market.
And that,
That's the source
That's,
of research.
gasp.
oh my god.
That's right. The cause of the destruction of humanity was Chihiro Morimura, kind of.
It was
because she sold nanomachine technology on the black. Whatever.
Is that Chihiro on the left?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's 2188 Chihiro.
Okay, because she's got those kind of. I think she looks like the delinquent kind of from this angle, like the eye.
No, we've seen the prime version of her before.
Okay.
It was in a Minami storyline, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
We have to repair it right away. We'll lose life support if we don't.
So again, like this is where the stakes are the highest. Okay.
Yeah, when there's only 15 people left on, 15 humans left in the entire universe.
Well, this is a flashback though. So there was only 15 humans at this point.
At this point.
Oh, okay.
That was right before they launched the colony program after humanity had been wiped out by Chihiro's the nanomachine plague.
Okay, but then they have these memories of their past lives somewhere.
No, they just have the logs that were recorded.
Oh, okay.
At this rate, you'll.
Those are the ones that.
Are you lost, little girl?
Wait a second.
I love your disingenuous gasp.
I was just saw each other, after all.
What do you mean disingenuous?
For one.
I meant what I said.
And that's me.
Oh shit. That actually was surprising to me. What the
did we find that out in Goto's storyline? I feel like we did. I don't remember.
If you're going to lie, at least put some
And now we're I like
Anyway, that was a flashback.
that was all of that huge.
Yes, that happened during this. Well, no, what he was that was him explaining that basically while this robot was pointing a gun at him, he was explaining everything that we just saw there.
Well, in fairness,
I guess including the point where Mini Chihiro also shot. Actually, don't really know about that one. That's kind of more questionable.
Mm-hmm. It's just like a 300-page guide in here. Just like it's that what is it that the side saga in the Brothers Karamazov
Oh my god.
with the Father Zazim or whatever. It's like
Yeah, there were several.
yeah, just like there was also the Grand Inquisitor. Yeah, so there's just like
Yeah, there's the Grand Inquisitor. There was also Ivan meeting the devil.
oh yeah, that's right. That was there's a whole like chapter.
I like that book. I remember it very
Yeah,
well.
there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Whether we go with Operation Aegis or not.
But yeah,
I think we got like a pretty big digression on Smerdyakov as well.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's right. Yeah, I remember that. That was like the whole thing where they're going into his like epilepsy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this has nothing to do with anything. All right, we shot a robot.
Uh-huh.
See, so I remember that when we were looking briefly through this episode to see exactly what was going to happen, that we did stop on this particular part where the robot was on the ground saying Sekigahara. There's the context.
Yeah. I remember I was like, like imagine a robot like.
I can't believe they're fucking using that animation again.
The person who killed me was a Sekigahara.
Which we saw him shoot him.
A Sekigahara. Who? A Sekigahara. Who?
But as for our future,
It doesn't really work, but
for our survival,
it's like
only the beginning.
can't get that last.
Nope, not at all.
All right, fine.
Do you think, maybe
A Sekigahara. No.
beginning of something else too?
Romance.
Yeah.
Wow. Love can blossom in the strangest places.
I guess.
I thought that was going to be the end.
Yeah, you thought that was going to be the ending, but I did too. No, we still got to have the final battle scene because this is the end of the thing.
Fuyusaka's the one piloting it.
Let's see.
Look, they didn't have the budget to actually show them kissing or anything.
Really? That's sad.
We're seeing seconds, even third
They had to spend it on more
Well, and more robots.
total.
and more robots.
Bastard. He's gathered quite a few participants.
instead what they did was they just had, I don't know, the previous scene where it just like, it zoomed in on them and then faded to black was weird.
I just have no emotional connection to these characters. It just feels, because everything feels so arbitrary.
Yeah.
Guess I'll give it a shot.
Well, hey, I mean, like we found out that Morimura inadvertently started the plague, and then, that A was technically working for Ida, but then, no, that was all a trick. And
But who cares? There are millions of these probes, or it doesn't matter.